and welcome to the second half of our KTVA local sports doubleheader. Tom Miller along with Rick Smythe from the East 40 Bowl, where it's going to be the first of 3 summer tournaments being sponsored by Hawaiian Airlines, and it ought to be a dandy. We've got Lynn Austermuhl back. He's going to be trying for his first win on television, but we've got some good new challengers, including Archie Temp, who are going to try and knock him off.
That's right. Archie Temp's up for a summer vacation from Arizona State University, but there's also 3 other guys on the TV show that would love to win. We'll see what happens.
Should be some great action. We'll be back with Game 1 right after this. Take a look at our bowlers for the first of 3 tournaments that are being sponsored this summer by Hawaiian Airlines. The bowling spirit's still alive despite the warm weather.
That's right, Tom. This show has been successful. It's nice to have a new corporate sponsor involved with Hawaiian Airlines, and today's show should be interesting. We have 3 relatively unknown bowlers bowling against Lynn Austermuhl and Archie Temp, who's a college student up from Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, it's the first of 3, as we said before, and we'll be telling you more about the other 2 as the show goes on. We join the first game in the second frame.
As we watch Jim McGee go for the washout.
Good pickup.
Good cover. Okay, Wayne Blackwell's up on the right lane. He can really put some heat on Jim McGee at this point. If he gets up and throws 2 strikes, start out with a triple. He says he's here for the fun of it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, again, he goes to the Brooklyn side, and this time it doesn't react for him.
Looked like he cut his swing off pretty short there. Instead of following through the ball with the ball, he just cut his follow-through short. We'll have to watch that, see how it develops. So watch 5-9. You see him wiping the conditioner off of the ball. Puts his hand in, fingers first, and then a thumb. Good tip for the viewers at home. 5-step approach. He'll start with his left foot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good shot. Ooh.
No, chopped it. Coming into the tournament, Wayne averaging 169. And you swipe my sheet. There it is.
Right where we left it.
Yes,
huh?
hidden underneath all your other junk.
Yes, we watch Wayne on the left. It goes Brooklyn again. And he gets the mix.
Well, he's gotten a break in 2 out of 3.
Wayne should loosen up a little bit and try to hit the right side of the head pin. As we watch Jim McGee, nicknamed Fibber. Fibber McGee up on lane 4. As he gets set, deliberate bowler. See him flex his knees a little bit. 5-step approach again. Swings the ball wide to the right. And doesn't get the lucky break.
He said Wayne was averaging 169 coming in. He had 178 for his average through 11 games. And on the opposite side, Jim averaging 192 coming in. Dropped a little bit. He's at 187.
That's a nice thing about... Whoa, as you watch Jim whiz by the 10 pin. That was a mistake. Needs to regroup here. That's one of the problems with the big hook ball. Sometimes it hooks a little bit too much for him. But getting back to the higher and lower average scores, that's the advantage of this type of format. If you're in the right place at the right time, you can win the matches. As we watch Fibber McGee up on left lane, must strike here. Whoa! He'll get another shot at that 10 pin.
Got a big break, almost left the 7-10. Check that brace out that he's got on his right hand. That really looks like it's going to hold something in there.
That definitely keeps your wrist and your forearm together and all in one line, and that is what makes the ball hook a little bit more for him. As we watch him on the 10 pin, looks like he gave a little more room. Good shot. Okay, Tom, this is a handicap event as it's been in the past. Wayne Blackwell gets 21 pins a game. Jim McGee gets 5. So there's 16 pins separating each other at the start. Wayne's up on the right lane again. Let's see if he makes this adjustment and hits the right side of the pocket. Right on the head pin.
Trying to make a little bit of adjustment from going to the left side, and that time it didn't come back quite far enough.
He's still trying to get lined up. Once again, Wayne should move his feet to the left on his stance and shoot for the same market on the lane. Standing the left side of the approach to shoot his cross lane spare.
And a good cover for Wayne Blackwell.
Okay, Tom, through 3 frames, Wayne Blackwell has 69. Jim McGee has 53 in the 3rd frame. Both of them are in marks.
And really the big difference is the handicap at this point.
That's right, that handicap will balance the players out. Wayne's hit Brooklyn 3 times on this left lane. Let's see if he makes an adjustment. He's trying, he's coming close.
So he leaves the 1.
Once again, it's a spare on the right side of the lane. He needs to stand to the left as we watch him stand to the left of the lane on the approach, going cross lane. Shooting for the 6-pin. Good conversion. Jim McGee's back up on the right lane. Let's see if he makes some type of adjustment for that 10-pin he's left twice. The ball might be swinging out a little bit too far to the right. He needs to go a little bit straighter. And good one. Good adjustment.
He drops that ball heavy down on those lanes, doesn't he?
He hits her down there. Jim's been bowling a long time. He's an avid bowler and supporter of the game. He's 15 pins down on a strike. This strike would make him about 4 pins down. Very important shot coming up for Jim McGee on left lane. We'll watch him get set and go.
And another good hit.
Good shot.
Jim just graduating from the Institute of Professional Bowlers instructor course, and he's now a current member of the United States Bowling Instructors Association. And you might be able to see that on the back of his T-shirt there, IPBI.
That's the best shot Wayne has thrown this entire game, and he did get rewarded for it. That's part of the game of bowling, and I guess that's why they give you 2 shots.
Hey, you wonder, he was successful on 2 out of 3 from the Brooklyn side, and now making his adjustment, he hasn't had another strike yet.
But he's closer. He'll be more competitive in the pocket through the long run. Wayne must win 4 matches to win the tournament. Likewise, Jim. See him cut his swing short that time, his follow-through, excuse me. That's going to be a key for Wayne. He must continue to follow through instead of shorten it. Let's watch it.
You can see the pressure's a little bit etched in his face as we get later on in the first match here.
Yeah, he said he's here for fun, but we'll see how much fun he's going to have at this point. Okay, we're watching from the rear. Let's watch his follow-through as it goes past his ankle. If it continues, that was a better shot for Wayne, and it's a better result.
He holds his follow-through nice. He drops that ball and just kind of freezes.
That's right, and when his bad shots that he's thrown, the follow-through doesn't go up quite as high. He cuts it short. Watch him go across lane for the 4-pin. This is his first tournament that he's entered. It's quite an accomplishment for him. Okay, Jim McGee's up on the right lane. This would put him about 7 pins up in the match. You see him get set.
And another one. 3 in a row, so he's made up the 16-pin difference that he was down because of the handicap.
That's right, and he's up approximately 7 pins at this point. 3 more frames to go. This will put a lot of pressure on Wayne. So watch Jim get set. See him take his time. He knows it's an important shot. Good shot from the rear of Jim. 5-step approach. Swing the ball to the right. And
well, he has been real solid these last 4 frames.
it's putting a lot of pressure on Wayne.
There's been no question about those strikes either. They have been deep in the pocket.
Wayne's a retired military man from the Air Force, nicknamed Lucky. He needs to get lucky right now.
Ooh. Too far over to the right that time.
But you can see he's made some adjustment. When he started the game out, he was to the left of the head pin, and he finally made some adjustments, went to on the head pin, and now he's a little bit too far to the right. But it's important that he's making an adjustment. He's gaining a lot of good experience here. Bowling under pressure. I'm sure all his friends that bowl with him will enjoy watching him and maybe give him a little hard time at this point.
There's a big difference when you're bowling without the lights and the cameras.
Pretty lonely feeling out there. It's not over, though. Anything can happen. We can figure it up mathematically, and if you can do it mathematically, you can do it with that bowling ball. At this point, it doesn't look good for Wayne. He's about 24 pins down. There's 2 frames to go, but that can swing easily.
I think he'd almost have to strike out to really put some pressure on at this point.
That's right. It's a must situation here. Wayne must get this strike. Whoops. He just didn't get the break. That was a good shot for Wayne. It's a nice shot.
One of the most solid hitting that he's had.
That's right. You see the difference, Tom, between the two bowlers. Wayne going a little bit straighter down the lanes and Jim arcing the ball. When you go straight the way he's going, the ball has a tendency to deflect once it hits the pins. But it's a good game for Wayne. He can still shoot 202 if he's... Whoa.
So I think he knows this one's pretty much in the win column for Jim McGee.
That's right. Jim must get a good count at this point, though. At least get a mark. A mark at this frame, the 9th frame, will cinch his victory for the first match. And
he's got it. So Jim McGee will definitely be moving on to the second game. He'll be taking on Cleve Cooper, and we'll be back with all that right after this. Let's join the second game in the first frame.
As we watch Cleve convert the 610. We'd like to welcome the viewers from the motocross event to the bowling portion of this doubleheader on KTVA 11. Let's watch Cleve Cooper on the left lane at East 40 Bowl. 4-step approach. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Goes straight up the 5 board. It's a good shot for Cleve. Okay, Jim McGee's up on the right lane. Needs to get back in the match here. Put some pressure back on Cleve. Swings it out.
He had a good solid hit that time for Jim McGee.
We talked about the handicap involved here. Jim has a 12-pin deficit to pick up through the first frame. Jim has 25, and Cleve Cooper has 37. Jim McGee's up on the left lane. Let's see if that big arc ball will help work for him today. Sends it, whoops. Sends it, whoops. Got a lucky break.
Got a break out of that one.
Okay, Jim will shoot the 6-pin on the right. Excuse me, stand on the left. Any of the spares you shoot, you want to stay on the left side of the approach as you see him place his feet. He'll go cross lane for this shot. Okay, Cleve Cooper up on the right lane.
You tell me Cleve looks like a 50-year-old grandfather of 7.
As a 50-year-old grandfather gets a double, Cleve's real proud of his family, 7 grandkids. He has 3 children. Charlie's a good bowler in his own right, Julie and Debbie. Of course, his spouse is Julia. Cleve's up, left lane. This would put a lot of pressure on Jim McGee. Going straight up. As you watch him, nice shot for Cleve. Brooklyn.
Cleve's been getting all kinds of breaks in the preliminary rounds this tournament.
Jim McGee needs a strike. Put pressure back on Cleve, and to get back in the match, you see him take a little bit longer time at this match. this shot. Swings the ball right. Ooh. Tough break. He leaves a 4-9. And Tom, I believe that was a little extra time that he took while he's in his stance. He had a time, that little extra time has a tendency to make your muscles tighten up a little bit. Get your conscious mind to working a little bit more, and a lot of times it gets in your way. And watch him convert his 4-9. Cross the lane.
Oh! He was going for it.
Gave it a good run. Okay, his back's to the wall now. We're only in the 5th frame. Jim McGee up on the left lane. He needs to get this strike. Had to pay the penalty on that last shot. So watch him get set. 5-step approach again. See how solid he is at the line. Good shot for Jim. Oh! The ball just didn't quite finish. That's a typical adjustment for human nature on the right lane he just got finished. He came in high, left the 4-9, and this one is a little bit wide. Missed it to the right a little bit.
Ball doesn't seem to be getting the action that he got in the first game.
That's a good point, Tom. Part of it, I think, is because of the 3 strikes that Cleve has. Put a little bit more pressure, get your swing a little bit tighter as you watch Cleve Cooper gets set. Looks good standing up there. 4-step approach, and look at this. Good shot for Cleve. Good ball. He's a competitor.
As the ball comes in, Cleve moves out.
You can see Jim feeling a little pressure, wiping his brow. So waiting for the Cleve to get his ball, and it comes back. That must be an oversized bowling ball coming a little bit, taking a little longer time getting through there. Okay, Cleve Cooper's up on left lane. He has 4 in a row. This would put the icing on the cake. Not quite. Match is not over. Okay.
He built himself a good foundation. Now starting to try and put up the walls a little bit.
Good point. Whoa. That's a soft urethane bowling ball Cleve is using, likewise Jim is. And it allows the ball to hook a little bit more. Grab the lanes. Watch Jim McGee's back to the wall. Needs a strike. He's about 50 pins down. Good shot. Okay, the score, Tom, through 5 frames. Jim McGee has 91. Cleve Cooper has 46, so we're 55 pins separating the bowlers.
Jim's really got to string some strikes together, though.
You're right, he must go at this point. Sure, he's giving himself some instructions. We'll see how it's paid off. Must strike right here for Jim McGee, lane 3 at East 40 Bowl. How about that? He's listening to himself. It's a good shot for Jim. Remember, he left that 2-pin on that left lane, made an adjustment, tripped the 4. It's a good shot for Jimmy. Does that let Cleve know that he's back in the game? This game's not over. Cleve needs to get a strike here. Just put it back on Jim. So watch him go straight up 5, and
he got it.
Went through the nose. Cleve sometimes is noted for those nose hits in Brooklyn. Someone that throws the ball as straight as he does, that's not a bad shot for him. I'm going to watch him from the rear view. You can see him stand halfway in the approach, 4 steps, nice shot. Look how solid he is. Good shot for Cleve. Came a little bit high.
No, that time he didn't hold his follow through and didn't get the strike.
That's it. That's a good point. When you fall off like that, and not hold your position, that's a signal that you might have rushed it. The feeling's a little different. So watch him stand on the left of the approach, going cross lane. Whoa.
Well, that opens the door.
Sure does. But Jim McGee needs to throw some strikes right now. Jim needs this one to get about 20 pins closer to Cleve, as we see him take a little longer time. We get set. He's a 4-pin. Remember that we talked earlier about the length of time he took during the first or 2 shots to go in that lane. The mind tenses up the muscles. The tip, what you need to do is just get up there and throw it. Don't think about 4 or 5 different things. Just think about 1 or 2 key points on your game and let it happen. Watch him go across lane. Okay. Jim McGee has 140 in the 7th. Cleve Cooper has 185, but Cleve's open. So there's approximately 35 pins separating the bowlers. At this point, Jim McGee's up in the 9th frame. He needs to strike to put some pressure back on Cleve. There you go. Good shot. Pressure. Put a little more pressure on Cleve. He went through the head pin. He's a 3-6-10. That was the same spare that he missed the frame before. You see him look up to the scoreboard, figuring it out. He knows the match is not over. This is an important spare for Cleve.
Yeah, he can't afford to chop on this one.
That's right. Jim McGee can strike out for 220. Cleve is going at a 230 clip, so an open inning. Watch out.
Oh, he did.
That's right. So we still have us a match. Okay, Jim McGee, if he strikes out, will shoot 220. Cleve Cooper, if he strikes out, will shoot 233. What Cleve needs to do at this point to close out Jim would be mark. Needs a mark and a good count to shut Jim McGee out. So you watch Cleve go on the left lane. Cleve's at 245. Remember, on that lane, he left the 3-6-10. He was a little high. He made his adjustment with his feet, went to the left, and the ball went a little bit too far to the right.
And when you throw a straight ball, this is not an easy spare to always pick up.
That's right. It's a good point. The ball have a tendency not to get up to the spare, and you can take the 2-5 off the 4, and sometimes it hooks a little bit too much and takes 2-4 off the 5. Watch him go across the lane for the spare. Better hook.
Whoa.
Okay, situation. If he gets 8, he's a winner. 7, we have a tie. 6, he could be a loser. Jim would have to strike out. And that's a distinct possibility. Job right here for Cleve Cooper. In his mind, throw a strike. Hit the pocket.
And he got it. 9. So Cleve Cooper will move on to the next match as he'll take on Lynn Austermuhl, and we'll be back with that match right after this. And back at the East 40 Bowl, our 3rd game, as we have Cleve Cooper, the winner of game number 2, taking on Lynn Austermuhl. And Lynn, no stranger to the tournament circuit this year.
That's right. Lynn's a tough bowler throughout the Anchorage area. Having been a past PBA touring player, as we watch Cleve Cooper on the left lane. Going straight up 5. Oops.
Not a good way to start at all.
Cleve ripped up his thumb. You can see him shake his hand. You looked at his thumb, it has a little cut on it. It has a big cut on it. I asked him earlier, you going to eat that for hamburger? He says, I might as well. So we'll see if that plays a part into it. Cleve was the winner as we watch him go for it.
Ooh. You can tell his grip is not as strong as it was in the last game.
That's right. Cleve was the winner of match number 2 against Jim McGee. 222 to 200 as we watch Lynn Austermuhl get up on the right lane at East 40, going straight up 5. Both bowlers playing around the same area. Leaves a 4-pin. Left lane. The ball is a little bit high on the head pin for Lynn.
Lynn with a 201 average normally coming into the, well, finishing up the first 12 games in the preliminaries, 222.
Yes, the hot hand for this tournament, that's for sure.
Has a hot hand, but lost out in the last two games that were played in the elimination round to Archie Temp, #1 seed, even though he was about 22 pins ahead of him.
That's
overall.
Right. There again, right place, right time. You shoot the numbers. You can win the right matches you need to. As we watch Lynn on the left lane, 4-step approach. And there's a 4-pin and a 10-pin. That's earlier when I talked about going straight. You have a tendency to not have the drive on the back end into the pocket. You have a tendency to have the ball deflect, leaving the 4s or the 10s. Excuse me, a 10-pin, or if it hooks a little bit too sharp, it leaves a 4-pin. Watch Lynn on the left side of the approach. 4-step. Cross lane. Good conversion. Lynn's a tough competitor around town. He's a good man to watch bowl. So watch Cleve Cooper up on the right lane.
Cleve having a 17-pin advantage with the handicap, but another split.
There again, that's the straighter ball that Cleve threw and jumped right on the back end for him. It's a tough break. We saw Jim McGee leave that earlier. 4-9, the ball just snaps off in the back end. And that's caused partly because that soft urethane bowling ball is using. It grabs on the back end and hooks. See if Cleve can convert the spare. He's digging himself a hole early against Lynn Austermuhl.
You can tell it seems like he's concentrating more on the thumb than right now in the game. And that's got to be tough, you know, when you get this far.
That's right, a lot of bowling. That thumb is chewed up. Just go straight up. Again, you can see just doesn't quite have it the way he did that match earlier. Okay, the past tournaments we've had have been at South 40 Bowl on synthetic lanes and synthetic approaches. And the lanes here at East 40 Bowl are the traditional wooden lanes made out of maple and pine. So watch Cleve convert spare. Good cover for Cleve.
Sure, what's the big difference between the two?
Well, the synthetic lanes are much like the Formica tabletops on your house, or on your table. And the wooden lanes are made out of wood. They're not quite as durable as the synthetic lanes. So watch them.
And a split for Lynn.
The wooden lanes need to be refinished every so often. They develop a track into them, much deeper than the synthetic lanes, but that track becomes very important on certain lane conditions. And that's the challenge of the game of bowling, going across the track, adjusting the different lane conditions as we watch an Austermuhl get one of those 2 pins. Lynn has 46 through the 3rd frame. Cleve Cooper, if he strikes, he'll have 52 in the 6th. So we're within 6 pins from the bowlers.
So right now the big break for Cleve is that handicap.
That's right. He can still put some pressure back on Lynn. Lynn needs to put some pressure back on Cleve as we go through this match.
And they just didn't bounce the right way. They collided in the middle instead of going to the outside. And so once again, Lynn Austermuhl, who was getting some good strikes in the preliminary rounds, leaves the 7.
Lynn's had to wait about an hour or so at this point. Wait for the first 2 matches to get bowling completed. And that has a tendency, Tom, to make your hand do strange things. Your muscles and your tendons in your hand and your wrist contract or loosen up. He still needs to develop that feel. I suspect near the end of the game, Lynn will be striking out, so Cleve must get going.
And went to Brooklyn side and left the 5.
The next bowler that we'll see bowl is Archie Temp from Phoenix, Arizona. He throws the ball much more revs on the ball, and it hooks more than that ball. Archie wanting to be a professional bowler in the future when he gets done with school. Okay, situation 3rd frame for both bowlers. Cleve Cooper has 51. Lynn Austermuhl has 46, and both of them are on spares. So watch Cleve get set. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Good shot. And
hits that time. Gets some good action.
I don't think his thumb hurt him that time. Okay. Lynn Austermuhl up on the right lane at East 40 Bowl. Needs to start throwing some strikes. He has yet to throw a strike this match. He's averaged 220 and he's yet to throw a strike. He's watching go straight up 7 board. There it is. He must have been thinking of his wife Holly on that one. She said, "You better start striking."
I mean, the one he calls me?
That's the one.
And her?
Yeah, he's really helped us out on the bio sheet, didn't he? He says, "Are you married?" "Yep." "To who?" "Her." Nice guy.
What do you think about when you want to strike? Striking.
Must have been thinking about it. There you go. He's starting to put them together again.
Lynn says he's been on long enough. We ought to know what he is.
Every time I hand in that bio sheet, he says, "Just use the one from last month." Cleve Cooper up on the right lane needs to get this strike. Get back in the ball game. Straight up 7 board and
almost came back for him, but just didn't swing around the right direction.
Didn't quite get the lucky break, but it's not over. Cleve must keep his thoughts into the game. Try not to think about that thumb. Watch him take 4 steps. Nice, solid at the line.
Got it. Really, except for those 2 strikes, Lynn really hasn't dominated, so Cleve has been able to hang in there thanks to that 17-pin handicap.
That's right. Lynn's been around the pocket, though. Cleve needs to start getting around that pocket and throwing some strikes. Coming down to the wire, we have about 4 more frames to go. Cleve wants to bowl the next match. He needs to start throwing some strikes. This one here would count.
And again,
you see that
come back out.
That's right. You see that 6-pin lay in the channel. Didn't quite have the power on it to get it out. And love tapped the 10.
Ball just doesn't seem to be finishing like it did that first game, and possibly it's because he may be drawing his thumb out a little early or not putting the grip on it that he had.
That's right, Tom. It could also be the conditioner on the lane, traveling a little bit further down the lane. Any number of things. Watch Lynn up on the right lane. He has 2 in a row. This one put a lot of pressure on Cleve. There you see Lynn.
He's got one of those balls that goes a long way down the lane before it takes a sharp break.
That's right. He has a spinning shot. And when it's working, it's devastating. Lynn's a tough bowler. Let's watch Lynn from the rear view this time, and let's watch how solid he is. That would be a great thing for anyone that wants to improve on their game. Become this solid at the foul line. As you watch him get set, take off, watch how solid he is right there. Look at that. That's a great shot. Great reaction. Lynn will do that time in and time out. Excellent bowler.
Got that little happy birthday sign back there, meaning somebody here is a year older.
Who did that? Let's watch Cleve.
He's just not getting the breaks that he had the last game. Those carried, and he'd get the bounce back the other way, and this time they're just not falling.
That's right. Just could be that thumb. Could be a little different pressure from Lynn. Different opponent. Needs to go cross lane for the 7-pin. Good conversion.
As you said, once Lynn loosened up, he was going to be dangerous. 4 in a row working on it.
Okay, let's watch Cleve from the rear. If we can get a shot from him. There you go. And you watch him. He's solid at the line also. As you watch him plant and get set, see how solid he is? Stand on one lane. That's a great shot. Just isn't quite lined up with the lanes. Cleve's high game is a 288. The high series being 702. When asked who his toughest opponent is today, he puts down Lynn and Archie. Archie being the #1 qualifier. Okay, Lynn Austermuhl up on the right lane again. He's on 4 in a row.
Nice colors here at the East 40 Bowl to match the Hawaiian Airlines sign. Sponsor of this tournament. So Lynn opens up a 24-pin lead as we go through 7, and still working on a strike, so he can up it to 20, almost 20 pins.
That's right. Converts a spare. 7, 4. Through the 8th frame.
Over 20 now.
Lynn has 174. Cleve Cooper has 148. 26 pins separating 2 bowlers. 1 frame to go. The best Cleve can shoot is 208, and Lynn just needs a mark. Needs a mark right here. 10th frame. Needs a mark to shut out his opponent. Straight up 6 board. Or a little long. You can see that Lynn has done his work in the middle of the game, putting a lot of pressure on Cleve. Last couple shots, he wasn't quite into it. He didn't have the crisp feel of the ball in his hand. He's just going through the motions. He needs a spare.
And that should wrap it up for Lynn Austermuhl. So Lynn Austermuhl will go on to take on Archie Temp for the 4th time in this tournament. Ought to be a dandy match, and we'll be back with that for the championship right after this. And back at the East 40 Bowl, Tom Miller along with Rick Smythe, the championship of the Hawaiian Airlines Open, as Lynn Austermuhl, the winner of Game 3, taking on the #1 seed Archie Temp. And Austermuhl coming in the #2 seed despite having a 20-pin lead as far as total pins go on average at the end of the preliminary rounds.
Tom, I predict this game's going to go 240 to 230.
Yeah, they were rolling some logs in that preliminary round. They bowled 3 times against each other. Lynn winning the first time, and then Archie coming back to take the next 2 to be the #1 seed.
These guys are both good bowlers and competitors. As you watch Archie go a little bit high on the right lane, leaving a 7.
Now the question comes up. You mentioned before how Lynn was tight in the opening of the 3rd game because he had to sit for almost an hour. Now it's Archie's turn. He's had to sit for almost an hour. Now he's got to come in off of that while Lynn has had that warm-up game.
That's right. We'll see what that does with his hand. Watch him with the brace. But he needs to get his tempo in. You're exactly right. He needs to get his tempo set. Well, he's a college student up from Arizona State. It's with his bride-to-be, Lori, and her family.
Who he said humbled him well when he went down to show how good he was at Arizona State. She beat him by 100 pins.
That's right.
267 to 167. And she put, that was March of this year.
She reminds him that of all the time. Excellent bowler on her right. The whole family's good bowlers. Watch Archie Temp on the left lane.
Ooh, and that is not a good way to really get off to a good start.
Okay. We'll see if that waiting an hour had something to do with it. Archie Temp will shoot for the Temp and stay on the left side. Across lane.
Both of them bowling, what, scratch, huh?
That's right. No handicap for these 2 bowlers. Lynn was the winner of match #3 over Cleve Cooper. He shot 211 to Cleve's 187, and that's how he was able to bowl Archie for the championship match. A little bit high. I'm sure you can see him set the ball down a little bit short. Instead of hitting 6 and 7 where he's been playing, he hit around 9 or 10.
He's considering himself lucky he didn't come up with a split out of that one.
And here, Lynn knows that he's in for a match with Archie. They both bowled each other 3 times earlier, like we talked. Archie having won twice. Lynn only having won once. Let's see if there's a little revenge coming here.
Archie with a 201 average coming in. Or I should say Lynn with a 201 and Archie with a 204.
Lynn's had some great experience on the Pro Bowlers Tour, which is where Archie wants to head. He'd like to become a successful Pro Bowler. Watch Lynn get up on the left lane. See, he's taking a little more time getting set. Straight up 9 board. Once again, a little bit high.
Oh, did he get a break on that?
Whoa. Okay.
He says, I had it planned all the time.
Archie Temp. Right lane, didn't quite get the break.
Doesn't quite look like it's braking as hard as it did earlier. Archie now trying to convert on this one to try and keep pace with Lynn Austermuhl, who has 2 strikes in the first 3 frames.
As he converts. Okay. Archie Temp's up on the left lane. Must start throwing some strikes against Lynn.
Archie right now trailing by 23 pin, or I should say 13 pins. And he does hit that one solid. You could definitely tell that one was going to carry.
Good shot for Archie. Lynn's up on the right lane. He gets this strike. Puts some pressure back on Archie. He got the lucky strike last time as we watch him go straight up 10. Ooh, solid 8.
Solid hit, but as you said, a solid 8.
It kind of evened things up for that Brooklyn that he got last time. You can see him smile, chuckle a little bit. It's a tough break for him. He's loose, but he wants to win. Archie's a tough competitor.
Needs a spare to maintain that 13-pin lead.
Archie's on a strike, so this can go anywhere. Okay, Lynn Austermuhl is up on the left lane. He's on a spare. Lynn has 60 through the 3rd. Archie has 47 through the 3rd. Archie's on the strike. We're going to watch him from the rear. Watch how solid Lynn is when he stands. Good shot. And good results.
So he's working the Dutch.
Okay, Archie needs this one, Tom, to get back into the ball game within 3 pins.
Double definitely help.
Archie's a good bowler. Needs a little pressure shot right here. Watch him swing the ball out. The fast 8. Tough break. Tough break for them.
Well, he didn't take a whole lot of warm-ups like some of the bowlers do, bowl a game or so prior to coming out. He just had his regular warm-ups, and he still may be kind of tight.
It's a good point. It's a good shot, though. Good shot under pressure. Maybe he tugged the ball a little bit. Excellent shot. Fast 8, nothing to be ashamed about. Goes cross lane for the 4-7. Situation. Archie has 67 in the 4th. Lynn has 80 in the 4th. Lynn's on the strike. Archie's on the spare. Archie comes from Arizona. Originally, he's from Waukegan, Illinois. He's going to school out of Arizona. He bowls for Arizona State. And collegiate program is very good, Tom, for the junior bowlers. It's a good starting part for the bowlers that want to go on a Pro Bowlers Tour.
Try to make the adjustment, cut in on the left side that time. So he failed to carry the right with the 6-10.
Archie's only thrown 1 strike so far this game. It's a new feeling for him to bowl on lights. His future will hold many more times underneath the TV lights as you watch him take 4-step, go cross lane for the 6-10. Good cover.
Now, this is the first of 3 tournaments this summer for Hawaiian Airlines, and I would not take bets we will not see Archie Temp again.
That's a good spot. Good point. July 11th and 13th will be held at South Forties. Watch Lynn Austermuhl go. Good shot. See where Lynn is. He was 2 or 3 lanes away. Wanted to put pressure back on Archie. And he did. This is an important shot once again for Lynn. This would put Archie on the ropes. Just watch him get set. See him look down and watch his feet, get set, and he goes. He doesn't wait a long time. So he's set and go. Good point. And that's the man who was on a Pro Bowlers tour coming through for Lynn. Tough competitor. It's not over, though. Archie needs to get rolling here.
That was a textbook strike.
Archie turns the ball a little bit more than Lynn as we watch him swing the ball to the right. It comes back.
Oh, got some action out of that one.
Brings a smile to his face. Okay, Archie Temp. Once again, we talked about the Arizona State collegiate program, which is very good around the country. With Olympics coming, bowling will be involved in the Olympics this year. In Korea, it will be an exhibition sport. Watch Archie swing the ball to the right. Just doesn't.
Whoa! Oh!
Doesn't have the winning touch today. Archie's coach at Arizona State is Mike Landreth, and Mike is a member of the Team USA, which is a national team that's representing the United States. They will be bowling in Germany, and they'll bowl in Florida to see who has the right to go to Korea to represent bowling. And Mike still has a good shot at it. And as you can see, Archie learned a great deal from Mike. Owes a lot of credit to him. Lynn's up on the right lane. With this strike, Lynn would put the icing on the cake. See him set. And
not quite. Lynn wants to put Archie away sooner the better. He knows he left a couple of opens back in those preliminary rounds, which let Archie go on to win those last two to be the #1 seed.
That's right, and Archie's capable of striking out, as you noticed earlier. Lynn has 159 in the 7th on a spare. Archie has 125 in the 7th on a spare. So it's 34 pins different. 2 more frames to go. Lynn.
We know better to say that the roof would have to cave in.
Yeah, don't say stuff like that. Remember you said that one time last year?
No, you said that.
That's right. Who said that?
Well, see?
Yeah. You said it first, though. Okay. Best Lynn can do is 226. Archie can shoot 205. So you're about right when you said the roof will have to cave in. Now I'm going to leave the building after saying that.
Well, he carries that one, so Lynn Austermuhl wraps this one up. And really, the early going was a story. He managed to get those couple of strikes in the first couple of frames, and Archie had that big open.
And I think he could have come back to where you talked about Archie having to wait it. Archie had to wait that extra hour. He could have had lost the feeling in his hand again. It's in this tempo. For Archie to have any chance at all to win this match, he must strike out. He's in the 10th frame now on the left lane. He would have to strike out, and Lynn would have to open. Archie's up on left lane. He wants to make a good shot right now. And just not quite there. We talked about earlier today the guys that hooks the ball and the guys that go straighter. Apparently on these lane conditions, Tom, the straighter shot prevailed. Remember, Jim McGee was hooking the ball a lot, and he left a 4-9. And Archie, who also hooks the ball and cranks it up, not quite getting lined up on the lanes. Lynn going straight up the boards, the ball reacted a little bit more consistent for him.
And he'll carry. So Lynn Austermuhl will win this one, and the champion of the first Hawaiian Airlines Open for this summer. And we'll be back right after this. And back at the East 40 Bowl, Tom Miller along with the birthday boy Rick Smythe as Rick presents the prize money to today's 5 finalists. 5th place Wayne Blackwell. Fourth place, Jim McGee. Third place, Cleve Cooper. In second place, Archie Temp. And our winner today, Lynn Austermuhl. So that'll do it for this month's Hawaiian Open and Hawaiian Airlines Open. And we hope you'll join us again next month from the South 40 Bowl for our next tournament. For Rick Smythe, I'm Tom Miller.